Welcome back to another Metal Mondays. We just played Internal Nightmare from Vio-lence and Incarcerated from Evil. As you know, we always start Monday off with Vio-lence. We have a lovely guest with us. We have Marta Gabriel from Crystal Viper. How are you?
Hey, Emily, I'm doing well. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Definitely. Let's get into this. I see in the lineup you used Eric and Cedric from Crystal Viper. What was the process picking the other three guest musicians?
Well, the other three guest musicians are John from Raven, Harry from Titan Force and Jack Panzer, and Todd from Riot 5. I love to work with friends. I love to invite special guests to my recordings. And it's a kind of a tradition when I was recording albums with Crystal Viper. We've done that many times before, and I also wanted to do that on this album. And when it comes to talk about special guests for this album, the very first thing that you might have is that you can expect some female guests, because all of those songs are originally performed by female singers. But I thought it would be too obvious. So I wanted to, make this album maybe not more interesting, but less expected. Some unexpected things are going on. So I decided to invite those three super guys, and which are my friends in personal life. So yeah. And with Cedric and with Eric, actually, I didn't think a lot about, recording this album with them. We are bandmates in Crystal Viper. They are super talented musicians. We are good friends. We understand each other with no words. And I was sure that when I will be working with them, everything will be, done on time and on a very professional level.
Definitely. I think it's cool you brought them to the table since they're already in a band with you, and you brought really great musicians, which is cool. So how long after recording The Cult did you think of doing a cover record?
Immediately, actually. When we started work, when the Cult album was ready, it was last year in August. We decided to work on the next music project, to not waste entire year and to stay busy as musicians, because we knew back then that we are not going to play live, and that all of the shows has been postponed on cancelled completely, and our tour also have been cancelled. So we started to work on some other projects than Crystal Viper, and Metal Queen's album was one of the couple of ideas to work on. So I had this idea, and we just started work on that. And except the Cult, Metal Queens, we are even right now working on some new interesting stuff, not connected with Crystal Viper. It's going to be something completely different. So we stay busy for all the time.
I could tell. So with you dropping the Crystal Viper earlier this year, do you think when you guys have tours come around, you're going to play stuff off of Metal Queens and the Cult?
I hope so. I hope so, especially because I already received some, offers to take Metal Queen's project on tour, which would be amazing to me, because I would love to perform those songs live. That would be amazing. But first of all, we need to wait to get back on tour at all, because right now we cannot take anything for granted, and we really don't know what will happen. The truth is that we were about to play some live shows this summer, but they have been already postponed, so they are not going to happen. There are still some live shows on the list that will probably happen, but we really don't know. But the cool thing is that we will probably meet all together next month as a band for the first time since March last year, because due to COVID situation, we haven't seen each other for, it's like 16 months. right
Oh,
now, because yeah, we live in different countries, and
yeah.
every country in Europe has completely different regulations regarding COVID, so it was not possible to meet. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I will hope I will see, them next month, because except that we are bandmates, we are touring together, recording together, we are also a good friends, and sometimes phone calls and messenger are simply not enough.
Oh, I
You know,
agree.
it's something completely different when you meet with someone face to face.
Oh, I agree with you. And that's cool that you're like on that level with your band, that your friends. That's sometimes hard to find, but that's awesome. Um, you dropped two singles already from this record. Did you pick those singles or did the label pick for you to drop those singles?
I choose them.
Perfect.
I
That's
choose them together with my producer, who is in my personal life. He's my husband.
mhm.
So it's almost like I would choose them because we have very similar way of thinking. We listen to very similar music. We are both diehard fans of classic heavy metal. I mean, we are listening a lot of different music. Even I really like different genres from metal, death metal, black metal. I totally love 70s rock. But classic heavy metal is a genre which is closest to my heart. And it's exactly the same with my husband. So working with him as a producer is like a win team.
That's I definitely he's a hell of a person. Let's get in some tunes. We're gonna play "Holding Back the Tears" from Conquest here on Razor Radio. All right, we're coming back from Down but Never Out from D. Snyder. He just dropped that song like a few days ago. So let's get back into this. Where was Count Your Blessings filmed, and how long did it take to record that music video?
Wow, it was pretty difficult for us because we couldn't film it together in a regular way. Like, band meets together in the studio or somewhere outdoor and shooting music video. It was shot in 3 different countries with so many different people that it's almost like impossible thing to do. Eric was shot in Germany. Cedric was shot in Sweden,
Dang.
and I was shot in Poland. And I was actually shot in 3 different locations. You know, and that was the idea for the music video. And we had this idea to shoot us as a musicians, me bassist, Eric guitarist, and Cedric drummer, with a dark black environment. So it would look consistent in the music video. So it looked like filmed in one place, but it wasn't. And the additional scenes of me were shot here in Poland, in the mountains. One location was the Polish mountains, and the other scene where you can see the walls and so on were shooting on the ruins of one very old castle here, very close to the area where I live. So we put all those stuff together and edit the video. So, and I'm really, surprised that it actually kind of looks okay, because the only thing that I was worried about was the kind of consistency, when it's shot by so many different people in so many different locations. But yeah, we made it, luckily.
It definitely looks like you guys like. I didn't think that it was filmed all in different places. I know that your vocals, because of the shots, are filmed in a different spot, but I didn't think the drums and the guitar were filmed somewhere else. So it is very consistent, in my opinion.
Thank you very much. It's a kind of compliment, but this is the reason why you cannot see in the video all of us together
Yeah,
playing as a band, because yeah, it was in 3 different freaking countries.
that's crazy. Do you have any plans to make any other music videos from this record?
I would love to, but the truth is that producing good quality music videos is the most expensive way to promote your music. So for sure, we will do something more for Metal Queens, but I don't think we will shoot another video like that. But for sure, I have some ideas, and I am sure that something else will come out very soon. But, I don't want to spoil the surprise. I have some ideas already in my head, but yeah,
It makes sense. Of course, you don't want to spoil them. I mean, we all want the surprise anyways of what you're gonna do. So, do you have a favorite song you recorded on this record?
No, I love all of them equally.
Yeah.
Even when I was choosing songs for this album and I had to choose only 10 or 11 songs, it was a nightmare for me because when I came up with the idea of doing album like that, the list was much, much longer. So actually, when I was creating that list, everything came very fast. This band, this. I also love this band, this band, this band. And the list was much, much longer. And then I had to choose only 10 or 11 songs. And this was very difficult for me. And I chose only 10 or 11 because we knew that we want to release this album on vinyl. And when you want to release your music on vinyl, the time is kind of limited. You can record, specific number of songs there or specific time. So I choose only 11 songs, but I would totally love to record the songs that remained on that list. I really hope that I will be able to do that. Hope that people will love Metal Queen's album, and maybe in the future I will record Metal Queens Part 2. Who knows? For sure, it's much too early to even speak about that because this one hasn't even been released yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just wait for what will happen.
I hope you actually do because you picked a hell of a list of people to cover. And what was the process picking that list of bands?
I simply made a list of my favorite bands with female singers. So it wasn't difficult for me because this is the music that I listen on daily basis, to be honest with you. There are, of course, don't get me wrong. It's not like I listen only to heavy metal bands with female vocalists because it's not true. But when I had this idea to record, this album, Metal Queens, I just started to make that list and it came out so naturally. Even I was surprised, At the beginning, I thought that it would be a lot of thinking, maybe looking at my, shelf with CDs and so on, looking for something. But it came out that there are so many that I don't know at the end what to record, what to choose on the album. So, yeah.
Definitely. That's pretty cool. Well, let's get in some more tunes. We're going to play Malicious Souls from Vulture here on Razor Radio. We're coming back from Welcome Home from Crystal Viper. I thought it was cool you actually had Andy LaRocque play the solo on that song. That's a bitchin' cover.
Thank you very much. And it's a huge honor that Andy decided to work with us on this song. And I believe it was kind of interesting for him as well because he's performing this song with King Diamond for decades. Yeah. And right now some other band asked him to record the song he's playing with King Diamond, with someone else. But the truth is we know each other with Andy for many, many years right now. Andy co-produced one of Crystal Viper albums, Metal Nation, so our second album. So it was a long time ago. And when we decided to record Welcome Home for the Cult album, then the idea came to ask Andy if maybe he would record the solo. And I was like, wow. And I'm like that every time when I'm listening to the song, I'm like, man, we have Andy LaRocque playing the song with us. Isn't it fantastic? When you are a heavy metal maniac who loves King Diamond and this kind of music, and then you have a opportunity to work with such talented person, it's like, wow, just wow.
I thought it was cool when I saw the the record. I was like, wow, dude, that's such a bitchin' song. And your vocals brought so much to that recording, which was amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the compliment. The truth is that I wanted to record this song for years, literally for years, but the time was never right. Look, when we are recording cover songs, we always try to make the cover songs fit our material, which is on the album. So this is, for example, why we choose Dokken song for Tales of Fire and Ice, because it wasn't very heavy album, let me put it that way. So we put hard rock song on it. And I thought that, the Cult have this kind of horror vibe a little bit, just like King Diamond song. So I finally thought that, okay, this is the right moment to record this one. But I didn't really know what to expect from my voice and how I will sound with this song and this is the reason why I was recording this song as the very last for the album. I recorded entire album and I leave this cover for the very end. And the truth is I had to practice it a little bit. And the truth is I learned some new vocal techniques. When I was practicing this song, I didn't know that I'm able to do some, stuff with my voice and so on. And before I started to record Welcome Home, I didn't want it to copy King Diamond, but I wanted to tell the song not only with the lyrics, but also with the sound of my voice, to sing it in this theatrical style, just like King Diamond does. And that was a kind of interesting experience for me, to be honest.
That's so cool. That's such a great song. So with you doing that and like learning different techniques, with you having so many different types of female vocalists on this Metal Queens record, what was the process learning those songs? Did you learn any new techniques?
Yes and no. For example, when I was singing Maltese song, there are those parts that I had to almost whisper, when I'm singing in the verses, the beginning of the verses. And I've never done that before with Crystal Viper recordings. So I had to try it a few times how to do that. But I found out the way to sing it, in that way. So, but it wasn't really like I learned a lot, because that was when I was teenager and when I was discovering all those bands and when I was listening to those ladies and I was trying my voice, if I maybe am able to sing something like Leather Leon, or if I am able to sing in the style just like Doro does, because they were amazing to me, especially because when I was discovering all those bands, I was already a singer in metal bands, so I was already singing. And I was singing with distortion and I was trying many different effects. My biggest idols when it comes to vocals have always been Rob Halford, Bruce Dickinson, David DeFace from Virgin Steel, and so on. So I was learning those falsetto stuff and singing with distortion. But when I heard those ladies, I also was trying to do something similar. And I believe the learning process was like for me then when I was a teenager. But of course, just don't get me wrong, I had to practice before I was recording those songs. And I had to practice to sing them, to record them. Vocal cords are similar to, when you are working with vocal cords, it's similar way of working like with any other instrument. It's about muscle memory. So if you are singing a song for 1,000 times, then you just don't need to, work as hard as when you are singing it for the first time. I was just practicing songs as long as I felt comfortable with them, and then I was ready to record. Everything requires practicing. Oh, yeah. It's all about practice.
And how long was the recording process for Metal Queens?
Which instrument? All of the album.
The whole album.
The whole thing. I believe it was ready within 1 month or so.
Oh. Dang. So, and you guys all recorded it in separate places, of course. That's crazy, man. That must have been rough.
But I believe it's possible because we understand each other in a kind of perfect way, we know each other, we are good friends. And, in Crystal Viper, it's like we learned to work with each other on a kind of professional level. There's always a schedule. We always give ourselves time that something needs to be done by then or by that date and so on. And that's why we are able to work on so many stuff, because it's not like that you are recording at home so you can record it forever and forever. No, we are just saying to each other, okay, in, 2 weeks, we are recording guitars. By next week, or we are getting done, or bass tracks and so on. And that's why everything goes so smooth. And it was exactly the same with the Cult album. I'm not sure if you will believe that or not, but last year, when this pandemic situation began in March, in April, we decided to record the new album. So in April, we started to compose songs. And in August, the album was done, recorded, ready to send to a record company. It was like 4 months, and everything was completely done together with composing songs.
Damn, that's crazy. And how long did it take the band and the 3 guest musicians to learn the covers?
You are asking me how long it took for the guests to record, right?
Yes, and your core members too.
It went pretty quick. Everything went pretty smooth. I cannot give you the specific timing because I don't remember. I only remember the entire thing was recording so quickly that...
It seems quickly because a month, wow. I would have assumed it would have taken longer just because there's so much that comes into play because you guys covered so many different artists.
Yes, but it's all about practicing and learning. And for example, for me, I won't lie to you. For me, those songs weren't new. Yeah. Of course, I had to learn lyrics. I had to sing them a little bit to get myself comfortable with them. But I knew all those songs for years, so I had them in my head for all the time. So it was just all about to sing them for real, not just only, singing them under the shower or something like that. Singing in my room for myself, because these are 2 completely different things. When I recording something on a professional basis, it requires practicing.
Definitely. Well, we're going to get in some more tunes. We're going to play Max Overload from Marta Gabriel here on Razor Radio. We're coming back from Mr. Gold from Marta Gabriel. Such a great song from Warlock that you picked. I liked it a lot.
Thank you very much. Actually, there is a very specific story for this song, why I chose this one for the album. Many years ago, with Crystal Viper, we already recorded this song. But it was kind of a demo recording, and we weren't very happy of the final result and so on. So when I came up with the idea of doing this Metal Queens album, I decided to record the song again with proper quality and with better quality than we've done that many years ago. And, the other thing is that it's a cool song. It's one of the best Warlock songs, in my opinion. But the truth is that I could record any song from Warlock and it would be perfect because all albums from Warlock are amazing. I'm amazing. But, I was thinking about I Rule the Ruins as well. But I finally, at the end, I decided to record Mr. Gold. But only because we've done that before and we wanted to, record it in a proper way with the proper sound and professional sound.
Definitely. And if you did do another record for a Metal Queens, would you do a whole set of different Metal Queens, or would you just add do a different Warlock cover or anything like that?
If I would do Metal Queens Part 2, there will be different bands that remained on the original list because they are still there and waiting to be recorded. I really hope I will be able to do that. I would love to do so. Seriously.
I think a lot of people are going to like this record. With you covering 10 tracks, what was the process picking the track order? Is there a specific order that you picked?
Yes. And when all songs were recorded, we were keep on listening them and we were putting them in an order that would sound pretty consistent, So, yeah.
Awesome. And what made you pick Mr. Gold as the bonus track on the CD release?
The first idea for the bonus track was song from Wendy Williams because it's she comes from a kind of punk scene, but she's also known from, working with Motorhead. So I think she deserves Metal Queen title as well.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end, when we heard the final result, we thought that we will put Wendy on the album and Mr. Gold as a bonus track, just because Warlock was already recorded in the past. So we thought it would be kind of interesting to put Wendy as a regular track on the album.
I thought it was a good choice. She was definitely a good choice. For me, she did a lot for even the scene for women anyway. She hell of a singer.
Yes, and an amazing personality.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the main thing actually that got me into Wendy. Just look at her on stage on YouTube. Wow.
I know, right? So who designed the album cover?
Actually, the idea for the cover art came originally from my producer, who's my husband, and from Bart,
Mm-hmm.
from my husband. And when I came up with this idea to record such an album, he told me that he had an idea for the cover art. I said, okay, give it to me. And when he told me how he sees the cover art, I loved it immediately. And we contacted Mario Lopez,
Mm-hmm.
an artist who painted Crystal Viper album, The Cold. And the cover art for the Metal Queens album, it's an actual painting. So it's not photoshopped or anything like that. It's a real painting.
Dang, that's pretty cool, actually. I think that's really cool. So, going back to if you ever did a part two, would you stick to 80s fronted bands or, well, female fronted bands, or would you go to a different decade if you can?
You know, regarding timing, I didn't really pay a lot of attention to that. I simply chose the band and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
If you would ask me which year all of those albums with those songs were released, I don't know, maybe it's a shame, but I really don't remember. I have horrible memory
That's
and
fine.
I'm horrible with dates and so on. So I'm choosing by music, you know, by
That's
music
perfect.
that I listen, that I love. And for me, the timing really doesn't matter.
That's awesome to know. So where can everyone keep up with you and buy this amazing record that's gonna drop this year?
Well, you'll be able to listen to this album probably for sure on Spotify. It will be released on all streaming services, and it will be able to get it on my record company's web store. And keep on following me on Instagram and on my Facebook page because I'm announcing all of the news out there.
Definitely, that's so cool. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was a huge pleasure for me to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, we're gonna end the show with Sermons of the Sinner from KK's Priest here on Razor Radio.